System with a steal. Sylvia Fowles throwing it down. Sylvia Fowles with the hammer in her final All-Star game.
I mean, it's incredible. She jumps out in double team, steals the ball, and just goes. It's harder on the right side too, Ryan, coming down. I mean, come on.
It's not making a final All-Star game memory. Yeah, that's one way to do it.
This is nothing but that sports talk.
That's how you slam it down the All-Star game. I said, welcome to this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Rafique, Louison, Aya Abdeen on hand.
Hello.
And Sylvia Fowles, only you in your WNBA career in your final All-Star game with a sledgehammer. What are your thoughts on that?
It's amazing. Like, it sparked the whole fan base, and it can like head in a positive direction, because there has been a lot of people that had say lower the rims and they're like making fun of the WNBA for it. But now with Sylvia Fowles' dunk, and there has been a lot of dunks in the last few years with Brittany Griner, Liz Cambage, and many more. And the future of the WNBA is bright. Like, I enjoyed watching it, and you see how excited the players and fans are.
Didn't I tell you that the WNBA players can do a dunk? Didn't I tell you do not sleep on women's basketball?
Yes.
Didn't me and Ryan talk about it? Come on.
Right.
Her final All-Star game. The basketball court where she started her WNBA career. Well, not at the basketball court particularly, but you get what I mean.
Yes. You get what you mean. I get what you mean.
And while we're on the subject of Sylvia Fowles, along with Sue Bird, they played in the final season. What were your thoughts?
I enjoy watching both Sue Bird and Sylvia Fowles like playing the WNBA careers. Like, there has been like great story headlines for these legends in the last few years with like championships, like making history. Sue Bird, she's at all-time assist leaders, and Sylvia Fowles is all-time in rebounding, and it's really important to like give them recognition for both sides. So it's really important to honor them in a good way. So that's what I like about it.
We talk about this. As much as you acknowledge these women, with Sylvia Fowles, on the other hand, one of the main focal points of her career is the fact that she's good at rebounding and scoring on the inside. She makes it tough for low post players to guard. Not to mention she can knock down threes too.
She's underrated. Like, she's underrated for sure. And she's one of the greatest centers in WNBA history. Like in her relationship with Candace Parker is amazing as well. Like, they're friends. And remember the Tennessee and LSU matchups in college days between these two?
Yeah, I kind of remember. I also remember Candace Parker, she was killing it in Tennessee.
Yes, she got 2 straight national championships before getting drafted first overall, which is like amazing, And
funny enough, they were all drafted around the same year in Chicago Sky. Well, they were slowly but surely getting better, but winning games was just not really something that they were good at back then. But right now, fast forward, 2022, Sylvia Fowles managed to snag like 2 championships with the Minnesota Lynx. I mean, well, Maya Moore won 2 of the championships without her, but during the days of Maya Moore, because she was balling out and carrying that Minnesota Lynx franchise, making it the dynasty that they were back in those days. You don't give Sylvia Fowles enough credit for statistics and the way she presented herself on the offensive end.
Yeah, it's amazing to see Sylvia and turn around her career in Minnesota. Like, remember when she wanted out of Chicago in 2015, and then she got what she wanted in 2015, and she's gotten 2 WNBA championships, which was an impressive turnaround. And Candace Parker coming back to Chicago for her hometown. What a coincidence for these 2 franchises, like Chicago and Minnesota. Candace Parker ended up getting 2 championships with 2 different teams, Los Angeles Sparks and the Chicago Sky. And then Sylvia Fowles getting 2 championships with Minnesota Lynx. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's thinking with Candace Parker. Well, I'm surprised she's not done with the WNBA just yet, because this girl, as long as she's been playing, you almost forget that she only has like 3 or 4 years after the WNBA in her.
Yes, that is really impressive for sure. That's really impressive to see her like getting back to the prime time, like for Chicago. And then remember when Candace Parker got disrespected by Derek Fisher 3 years ago when she was benched in a must-win playoff game. And then everything has changed since then. Parker driving in Chicago, Fisher getting his butt out of Los Angeles. What a coincidence.
Yeah, Derek Fisher, he's out as the GM and coach, but we're not going to talk about that. But what we will talk about is the fact that you added an amazing All-Star break, which is highlighted by Sylvia Fowler's dunk. I want to get your overall impressions about the way the All-Star break came about.
Honestly, I wish it should have been more days because they need to get rest, which all players play tomorrow, 2 days after the All-Star break, which they put in the All-Star game in the last minute, which I had to point out, which I'm really confused and lost for a second. And I really wish the WNBA should have done better to put in more rest for these ladies, for these players.
Well, luckily that may come to because Louison was in a press conference with Kathy Engelberg yesterday. She did talk about extending the WNBA to 40 games next season.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And then extended, and then creating a WNBA essential by 2025. You're going to see more WNBA teams.
I can't wait for that.
But the most teams I was looking forward to seeing, which city would you want a WNBA team to have?
Mostly Philadelphia is one of them because there's some ballers that were built in Philadelphia, like Kalia Copper, Dawn Staley, and remember when there was a Charlotte Sting in North Carolina?
Oh, I remember the Charlotte Sting. Dawn Staley made name for herself in that franchise, even though the Sting sucked, which is why they folded after the late 2000s.
Yeah, and then the second city I want to see is the Bay Area, and the honorable mentions is I want to see Toronto, Miami, Sacramento, Houston make a run for it. That's the cities I want to see make a run for the expansion. It's going to be really exciting WNBA futures that they can get more fans to watch and understand the history of the game. And speaking of that, I've been seeing on social media a lot of fans making fun of Brittany Griner, calling her a criminal, which it's so bizarre. And I just don't understand why they're talking negative about Brittany Griner, whenever they honor her, even though she's going through a difficult situation with the invasion of Ukraine for Russia. And I really think that the WNBA needs to have more fans that care for the game and history and things that are bigger than basketball as well.
And when you talked about Brittany Griner, because you talked about the Brittany Griner situation, we have to actually discuss the fact that she's been found guilty of drug charges. Ouch.
It's a strategy to get her home. It's a strategy to get her home. And that's how ESPN's TJ Quinn is explaining about it. In Russia, there's a 99% conviction rate. And then Americans opt to enter the guilty plea so they can get home quickly. And there was news that former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson is expected to travel to Russia in the next few weeks to secure the release of Brittany Griner and another American, Paul Whelan, who has been detained since December 2018.
Yeah, they really had to get Brittany Griner out because this story is just so sad. And if you watch the video, Monica McNutt did a phenomenal job recapturing all the moments of where the players and Brittany Griner's wife, Shirley, came on the court to talk about the situation, saying how it's unfair for her to be treated the way she treated. I mean, she's
being treated like a political pawn. It's really scary. It's really scary. And then seeing these people talk about the national anthem, when they're saying that she hates America. These are the Trump supporters that believe that January 6th is a terrorism. I did not understand why there's people that believe that January 6th is a terrorism when it's actually a freaking insurrection. It makes me feel uncomfortable and sick to my stomach seeing these people stand with Russia over this. I did not understand.
Number one, watch your language.
Oh, sorry.
Number two, where were you originally born at? And I'm bringing this up for a reason.
So I was born in Scottsdale, Arizona, and my parents are from the Middle East. I used to live in Jordan for 3 years, and then now I'm back in Phoenix for a second stint. I'm sorry if I had a cuss, by the way. I get angry whenever I get frustrated, just so you know.
Yeah, no. The reason why I'm bringing this up because I bet you if you was in that situation that Brittany Griner is dealing with right now, you would have been out, right? You would have been out.
Yeah.
Because it's an African American gay woman, all of a sudden it's different.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, Russians don't have much respect for African Americans or Americans in general or gay people in the LGBT community. You know that.
There has been a lot of like issues whenever there's like in Russia, it's an anti-LGBTQ place. Like just to point out, and Vladimir Putin had an anti-gay propaganda in law in effect since June of 2013, which Russia they have a history of like homophobia, sexism, racism, misogyny, and more. Like it's really, really fucked up. Like, I mean, it's scary going inside this place. Like, if I were in Brittany Griner's shoes, that would have been like really scary going inside a Russian prison.
Yeah, exactly. Because she didn't know what she was getting herself into. She only went to Russia just to play ball. But I know if I'm Brittany Griner, I wouldn't go there ever again after what I experienced.
I agree as well. And then just to point out, speaking of the overseas, like WNBA players go to the overseas to get paid more money for a living in the off season. And back then in 2015, Diana Taurasi sat out of the WNBA season because her team she played for back then, the UMMC Katerinburg, paid her 15 times more than a WNBA salary to play for the team and rest. Like there has been like a lot of issues when it comes to salaries in the overseas compared to the WNBA salaries. There should be equal pay for athletes and they should take action on it. I mean it in a good way.
When Camille came on the show last year, she did say something about not wanting the athletes to play overseas.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much, and well, unfortunately, they play overseas. This way they can not only get the money, but maintain their skill set so when next season comes, they'll prepare for next year. That's why some players, once the overseas season's done, they're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm back on the WNBA grind. WNBA season started. Let's get it going.
Yeah, that is true. That's what I've been seeing like since I started watching the WNBA in 2016. Now I've been like a WNBA fanatic for like 6+ years. It's crazy. Like seeing the growth of WNBA. And I just also want to point out that in EuroLeague Women, they love their players as much as the NBA does in the United States. Like there's like a difference between Europe and the United States. Like for Europe, like when it's EuroLeague Women, there are more fans in Europe compared to the NBA in the United States. Just to like clarify.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why you have all these foreign basketball games. And Kathy Engelberg did talk about doing some foreign games with the WNBA in the near future when I was at the press conference yesterday. She did really? Something about that. I mean, if you went to the press conference with me, you probably get a sense of what we're talking about.
So I also want to like point out that like the WNBA should expand to like more. Like there should be like Europe games, like what the NBA has done.
They did talk about that.
Yeah. So I've had to like point that out. Like it's gonna be like interesting to like see the WNBA expand to a country so fans from around the world can see women play. That's what I want the WNBA to expect in the future. Like I mean it.
Yeah, seriously. But on to some of the most exciting parts that happened in the All Star break. Of course, they honored Brittany Griner. And T. Wilson managed to get the victory, which was highlighted by the Sylvia Fowles dunk that I just talked about. While Kelsey Plum managed to win MVP for the All-Star break, even though Sabrina Ionescu started coming in hot in the second half.
Yeah, honestly, the WNBA future is bright. The future is bright for sure. Like, I am so excited to see the evolution of Kelsey Plum and Sabrina Ionescu, and especially all youngsters coming inside the league. Like, I am really optimistic that it's gonna head in the right direction. Coming from a Diana Taurasi fan, I am really excited to see the young players play. Like, it's exciting for sure.
Yeah, speaking of Diana Taurasi, how frustrated were you that she got snubbed from this year's All-Star game?
Honestly, looking back, I'm just really glad that she got the rest she needs, because if she played yesterday and then she had to play with the regular season tomorrow, it would have been worse. And since Taurasi is like getting older, she needs like more rest. It makes sense for me to like make sure she gets the rest she needs so she can come back scorching hot. Like I expect that. Like she needs a lot of rest.
Yeah, you know what? With the playoff push coming up, with the WNBA season starts literally tomorrow, and at the very least, Skylar Pinkett-Smith got to play in the All-Star game. So And she put in some work too.
Yep, I love seeing Skylar Diggins-Smith play, and despite the rumors, like Vanessa Nygaard, the coach, denied the rumors. Like I look at it as a rumor to me because like, you know that Skylar Diggins-Smith appreciates the city of Phoenix like in the last few years, and it would have been like bizarre for me if she was let go like to a different team. And one of the fans told me last Thursday, like when the fans were chanting "Don't leave Sky," and she appreciates the crowd. And I really think that we're headed in the right direction after winning over the Liberty. And I got to bring this up. Like, Sabrina Ionescu, she is spectacular in the fourth quarter for the Liberty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ball out. She had 2 triple doubles, even though the first one she had this season, they ended up losing on their second shot to Courtney Vandersloot. But we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. I love the evolution of Sabrina Ionescu. Like, after, the night. Yes. yes.
That's what she did. That's what she did in the ATL.
Yes. Honestly, like, I love seeing the evolution of Sabrina Ionescu. Like, I am so happy to see her grow the game in the last few years. Like, since getting drafted, she had the first 2 years like rough, and then now she's turning it up. And I gotta give credit to Sandy Brondello for helping her like grow. Like, I'm really grateful to see Sandy Brondello coach Sabrina Ionescu. Like, it's amazing to see her head in the right direction. And the future of Ionescu is bright. I mean it.
The future of New York Liberty is bright. And the first half, after they started off 1-7, they managed to pick up some big wins during the month of June and the first week of July. They beat the Connecticut Sun twice.
The upset.
30-point triple-double on the road in Las Vegas. One of the top 2 teams in the WNBA.
It's impressive. Honestly, it's impressive.
Highest WNBA games we'll ever see.
Yes.
114 to 103. That's how much that girl's been balling. Mm-hmm. And that Maria Johansson girl,
impressive.
That was just so incredible.
I love her so much. Like, even though I'm a Mercury fan, but I've been loving Ionescu since she was drafted. And I was bummed to see her injured in the bubble 2 years ago. And then now
we don't talk about the 2-win season where she only played like 4 games, something like that. And then, the only one good game for every bad game. We don't talk about that. We talk about this Sabrina Ionescu right now. This is the Sabrina Ionescu that I expected when she got drafted by the New York Liberty.
Yes, I expect that too. Like, I am really happy to see Ionescu growing. Like,
did she win a skills challenge?
Yes, she did. She's the first player in New York Liberty history to win the skills challenge.
New York, stand up.
It's really exciting. It's exciting to see that. Well, one of the teams I want to cover in the future is the New York Liberty for sure because they
come down to Brooklyn. They come down to Brooklyn, fill an application, you can cover it.
Yes.
How are you doing it for nothing but that sports talk? Just come down.
Yes. Honestly, like, I want to cover the New York Liberty in the future because like the future is really bright for sure, and I'm like really excited.
Liberty have another game against the Phoenix Mercury next month. Go look up the Phoenix Mercury's media people and tell them you want to cover it for nothing but that sports talk.
Ooh, I'll see if I can, but like I'm an intern and I just need some time to grow for now, but I just gotta like have to wait and see when is the right time to cover.
Did Pepper need time to grow? Pepper Percy's been doing the WNBA since 6 years old. What are you talking about?
Honestly, like
the Liberty since she was 7 years old. She did commentary. And you're gonna talk about you need room to grow?
Oh, I'm so sorry about if we're like joking around, but I'm just like I was born like 19 years ago. It's really crazy to look back at how the league has grown. Like I have to wait to cover an internship until my junior or senior year, so I'm just gonna like have to like wait it out and see how it goes, or possibly in the 4th semester. Winter 2023.
Yeah. To be fair, journalism, you are required to have a degree in order to get full-time journalism work. In order to cover it, you are required that. Yeah,
it's important for me to like keep growing in the field of journalism for me because I have to like take like little steps by time and then make sure I get it right. So I can just make sure I'm on the right track.
You're 1 month away from starting your second semester, your second year in college.
I start next month. I'm excited about it. I mean, one of the classes I'm excited about taking is sports reporting. That's what I love doing. So I'm like super excited to take that class. So that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah, I bet you are. And you know what? I know you're gonna get it done.
mm-hmm.
Now, the Phoenix Mercury, well, obviously they're affected by the Brittany Griner situation.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the fact that they're still hanging around in the playoff run, and unfortunately they're on the tie with the New York Liberty because the New York Liberty lost to Mercury again.
Oh my gosh. And also, we have 3 games this week before we have a 5-day rest. And it's like, and like a rest would help us like get more energized. And it's been like a lot going on since the Brittany Griner situation for sure. And like how mentally and physically affected they are. It's really like a devastating blow for this Mercury team that's expected a lot. And
Yeah,
like
I like the fact that
that's coming in, like having to deal with this situation, it's devastating.
Yeah, I like the fact that the Phoenix Mercury are still fighting for that playoff spurt because
Me too. I'm like surprised for sure.
Come on, this is the same Mercury that went toe to toe with the Chicago Sky in the WNBA Finals.
Mm-hmm. I still remember like when Brittany Griner was excited to play with the Mercury this season before getting wrongfully detained. It was like a devastating blow for sure. Like I'm gonna show you the post.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. So it's been
Did you
like
ever get to go to the Brittany Griner rap protests when they was in Arizona?
I couldn't go because of the safety and stuff. And this is like the post where Brittany Griner was really excited about playing with this team. It's been
and Tia Charles ended up getting let go. Tia Charles ended up getting let go. She's playing with, which is fine because at the very least she got to play with Sue Bird in her final year. So
yeah, it's interesting to see Tina Charles play with both Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird in the same season.
Yeah, and also another thing to look out for later this month, you got the Commission's Cup with the Chicago Sky and the Las Vegas Aces.
It's going to be held in Chicago once again.
So yeah, Chicago, they ain't done getting excited. They had the WNBA championship, they had the All Star break, and now they're gonna have the Commission's Cup. Come on, man, they're bound for the excitement after the way they performed recently.
Yeah, it's really talk about the franchise turnaround. Like it's well deserved for them. Like coming from a Mercury fan, it's like amazing to see them turn around this franchise. Like after Elena Delle Donne left in 2017 to Washington Mystics, and then remember that trade that involved Kalia Copper and Stephanie Dolson? It's a game changer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Really like important to like look back at it. It's like amazing. Like I remember seeing that trade, and I'm pretty sure that both of these teams would have a positive change outcome, and it's impressive for sure.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? On to a very another topic with the NBA. You know what happened earlier this week or earlier this month? Kevin Durant requested a trade out of the Brooklyn Nets.
I heard. Everybody is talking a lot about it. But like it's the off season, and there should be like the spotlight on the WNBA. Like the WNBA has a bright future, and then the NBA has been like around really long. And I really just want more fans to watch the WNBA. That's my goal. Like as a reporter, like to report on true facts and just don't report on like false facts, and like be more patient with myself. That's like my goal as a young journalist out here. And then I just want the WNBA to get the spotlight. Even though the NBA is having the offseason, they have free agency. There's like a lot more chaos in the NBA compared to the WNBA, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a fact. And not to mention Kevin Durant wanted to trade. And one of the teams he picked to go to his survey says your Phoenix Suns.
I don't think it'll happen. I'm sorry, but it's
Would you want Kevin Durant to come to your Phoenix Suns?
Excuse me. I don't think so, because we have to give up a lot. Like the future, it's gonna be like a lot to give up, and especially like the future as well. That's like the one thing I'm really, really worried about. Like giving up a lot.
I get it, because Brooklyn, they want at least 1 or 2 All Stars, a lot of draft picks when they make this trade happen. Because when you look at the draft projections, look who the Suns had to give up: DeAndre Ayton, Markel Bridges, Cam Johnson, 5 draft picks. Because the Nets don't have a draft pick until 2028. And we're long miles away from that.
Honestly, and speaking of DeAndre Ayton, so there has been like news about the Phoenix Suns and Indiana Pacers getting close. Okay, let me just read it. So Brian Windhorst of ESPN said on NBA Today that the Pacers have met with DeAndre Ayton. That's a huge step, showing mutual interest in wanting Ayton to land in Indiana, and there could be And the Pacers only have 26.2 million in cap space, which isn't enough to make the Suns blink on an offer sheet for DeAndre Ayton. If Indiana acquires Ayton, the most realistic path would be a sign and trade swapping Miles Turner. And then another one from Flex from Jersey. Hold on, I gotta pull this up. I am so sorry if I had to look it up because I'm reading like the tweets about the Phoenix Suns. And the Pacers tried to get Ayton at the deadline in a deal involving Sabonis. Both teams got cold feet at the time and are now working again on a potential sign and trade to finally get this over with. Friendly reminder, this potential Ayton deal doesn't affect anything with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, because Kevin Durant says the Suns is one of his preferred destinations. I mean, as much as I don't want Kevin Durant leaving Brooklyn, I know how much he would want to play for a team that's capable of winning a championship after all the nonsense that happened last season when they regressed and got bounced in the first round. Come on. Yeah. You cannot tell me you do not want a Kevin Durant to team up with a Chris Paul and a Devin Booker.
Honestly,
especially after y'all got blasted by the Dallas Mavericks in Game 7 of the Finals.
Honestly, it was a terrible ending. Like, it was a terrible ending for sure. I remember like back in May when we were like talking about how
y'all got blasted by the Mavericks.
Everybody was talking about the Phoenix Suns, like the worst downfall. Like when they had the best record in the NBA, just to get blasted by like 35 points, like fourth worst Game 7 in NBA history. I was just like embarrassed. I went there for like only 2 quarters and then I left. I was just like, oh my God.
You spent your money to watch the Phoenix Suns get blasted. Talk about being a dedicated fan.
I regret this. Like looking back, I regret. I feel really bad for sure. Like I felt really bad.
I've seen street ball games do better games than Nats.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy looking back at it and then now seeing DeAndre Ayton being possibly gone. I'm gonna miss him for sure. Like one of my favorite plays I've seen in person was the alley-oop on June 22, 2021. I was at the Western Conference Finals game.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It was my first ever Suns playoff game, and it was like really amazing. Looking back, seeing and with Ayton being potentially gone, it's gonna break my heart. Like this is like the best Valley play I've ever seen.
But you might get Kevin Durant, as what I can't believe I'm actually saying this. You might get Kevin Durant on your squad, if not this summer, then at some point during the regular season. Don't you want the Suns to win a championship as a diehard?
Yeah, for sure, but I just gonna have to be like, I have to be like patient for a second.
Think of it as my Brooklyn Nets helping your team out after the way y'all got blasted in the semifinals and then losing to Milwaukee after leading 2 games to nothing a year prior. Think about it as helping you out.
For sure, like just gonna have to like wait and see how it goes, and then if we head in the right direction, it's gonna be like really good. And then like downtown Phoenix is gonna be rocking. Plus, my school is like a few miles away from Footprint Center, so it's gonna be like really fun.
You're gonna be going. You should be a season ticket holder.
Ooh, but like it might be too expensive for me though because I have to like spend money on school and stuff. So who knows how it will go and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, now wrap up this episode of Nothing But That Sports. So thank you so much for stopping by, Aya, and I can't wait for the second half of the season. But
Me too.
Before we completely wrap up this episode, I want to get your predictions on what's going to happen. Do you see the Phoenix Mercury and the New York Liberty sneaking into the playoffs?
I think yes, that's a possibility. Anything is possible for sure. Let's get it.
I want to get your thoughts on the improvement of the Atlanta Dream because nobody really had the Atlanta Dream going nowhere. They're 10-12 over, and they're in the 6th seed.
Honestly, I want to give credit to Tanisha White. She's one of the candidates for Coach of the Year. She's impressive. Like, I'm really proud of this turnaround for the franchise after what they gone through last year. And they got the first pick, which was like a good gift.
And that girl, Ryan Howard, is just a baller.
Killing it. She's killing it for sure.
And that girl, Ryan Howard, is just a baller. And I'm not talking about the Ryan Howard that made the New York Mets seasons miserable in the 2000s. I'm talking about the Ryan Howard that came from Kentucky that got bounced in the second round. The same Ryan Howard that could nail 3-pointers like it's going like big men or big women shooting 3-pointers is literally a style in this generation that can take you to the low post, hit the hook shot, hit the mid range. I'm talking about the Ryan Howard who could simply carry the team and do what Angel McCaffrey couldn't do. lead
Yeah.
in their dream to a WNBA Finals appearance and win some games
Yes,
in
I'm
a few
like really
years.
excited
I
about
appreciate it because
how it
you're not ready for that.
evolution for the WNBA. Like it's like an excellent addition for the Dream. Like they need a scorer that can like score aggressively, and that's a player they need. And plus she's an all-star for the first time, which I'm really proud of. Like I'm so excited to see where this direction is headed for the Dream. Like the
And
future is
don't forget about Erica Wheeler, the first
yes,
undrafted player to be an All-Star MVP. That girl,
she
Erica Wheeler,
I
is very
that's
talented
excellent.
scorer.
Oh
And I
yes.
should know because she hit the game-tying shot against my Liberty.
Yes, that's for sure. For sure. I'm
Yeah,
so sorry. I've been like a little quiet for a little bit.
yeah, we
But
coming in hot in this WNBA season coming up for the second half, and I can't wait to see how far this Liberty and the Mercury are gonna go, and where the Chicago
yeah.
Sky gonna defend the title. This is where the two playoff teams come together, and the weak just stay behind and regress to a point where they might as well compete for the lottery and hope they draft Caitlin Clark.
Mm. And also, like speaking of the Phoenix Mercury, I just wanted to bring up the quote from Thursday, what Diana Taurasi said. It said, it would be nice to get away for a little bit. Obviously, Skylar has to go to All-Star and she's gonna go there and represent our whole club and everyone here in Phoenix and X Factor, and we just have to reload and come back with something to prove. I am here for this. I'm here for this for sure. Let's get it.
And now, end this episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. Thank you so much for stopping by, Aya. And to all the balls out there, enjoy the second half of the season and get your head in the game.
Okay, thank you.